in Jamaica relies on Jamaica's unique and distinct culture. Social problems in Jamaica, however, can pose problems in attracting tourists. What efforts can the Jamaican government make to curb street violence and, in general, crime to make Jamaica an even more attractive tourist destination?
Well, first of all, tourism and crime don't mix, as you've just said. The issue is jobs and employment and people feeling like they belong to something. And our primary goal now is to do just that, because tourism in the long run will drive jobs, will drive employment, will drive the well-being of the society. No question about that. So, the two of them don't go together. So you have to, it's a gradual process. You have to enable people, right, to do things and be a part of it. Jamaica's tourism is growing, which is good. So you're able to bring more and more people into the system, which bodes well for the future. But it's a process, and it's going to take time.
So I suppose my next question is more or less from an economics perspective. But as the market for tourism becomes more competitive, how can the Jamaican brand compete against other countries and other nations in the Caribbean region?
Are these brands, is this brand tourism or brands in like our Blue Mountain coffee or beer?
I would say more national brands, as in Caribbean nation islands as destinations, more in that regard.
You mean national brands in terms of competing products within the tourism sphere? I'm a little bit partial. I think Jamaica is very blessed. Has probably been, well, I happen to think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. However, we have the raw material to work with, and we have embarked on a serious upgrading, putting in new rooms, improving the infrastructure, starting with the airport, the roads to get to the resort. And we have developed a unique thing that's Jamaican among the younger people, right? And we have some unusually talented young people. We have an attraction, a tour. We have over 170 licensed attractions. But we have a tour now called dog sledding, and I have young children myself, for my sins. And they live in Florida. I only moved back to Jamaica 3 years. I served in America with the government for probably 18 years. So, it's just a question of they're doing well in school while we upset the apple cart. However, they vacation with me and they come every time they can. Now, we have dog sledding. And the person who almost created dog sledding is a young fellow who came out of a less fortunate neighborhood. And he had a thing with animals. They liked him. He currently is in the Iditarod. I think the last report I got, he was number 18. If you're familiar with the Iditarod, it's 1,000-mile race. He finished it last year. I think he came number 50. But he has created a tour where he takes the dogs off the street, trains them, and a lot of the children go on this tour with dogs pulling them. And, for them, it was the highlight of their last trip to Jamaica to talk about this. And my daughter's a little bit squeamish. She had a little 10-pound dog at home. To have the idea of dogs pulling people along the thing didn't appeal to her. But when they were finished, it was amazing. But we have some amazing soft adventures and things to do outside of the hotels that are amazing, and they've been created by young people. The Chucker Cove guys are simply amazing with the things that they've created. The new port that we've just built in Falmouth, which will it's designed to accept what they call the Genesis class ship, which Royal Caribbean has. It has 6,000 passengers and 2,000 crew. That port alone, within minutes away, I would have to say a half an hour, has 16 different attractions and things that the passenger can do. So all in all, Jamaica right now is a very powerful brand. We have new rooms that have been upgraded. The old rooms, because of the competition, have had to step up to the plate. Right? It is amazing. I could spend all night talking to you about the product, but it simply is amazing. By the way, have you ever been?
Not yet.
Okay, well, you should.
The realm of foreign investment, and of course it goes hand in hand with tourism, but in the context of the global economics crisis, and as we know, Jamaica does rely heavily on tourism, how can further foreign investment be captured?
Well, investors go where they make money, and right now the tourism industry is doing very well. And you will get the investment, you'll get the foreign investors, you'll get the local investors. By the way, I regard the purest form of export, right? People who grow bananas. The best form of export is when that truck backs up to the gate of that hotel and takes off the bananas, and they hang it on the bar, and the tourist comes and asks a banana daiquiri. That, to me, that's the best form of export. All the rums and we make the best rums in the world. All the Appleton rum that the tourist drinks, and all those daiquiris and the Red Stripe beer. That's where it's at. We don't have to put it on a plane or a ship. And I'm sure the music is amazing. We just there's a new group. Right? It's not really a new group, called the Jolly Boys. The average age is about 72. And they play a kind of a music called the Mento. And I have to say they're very popular in the UK now, and they're just being launched in America at 72 years old. We had them on the Today Show. You're familiar with the NBC Today Show. We had them on there on last week Friday. Amazing.
Check it on YouTube.
If you go on YouTube, you'll see all the things that we did with NBC. They're filmed on Friday with Kathy Lee Gifford and Hodo, and it's on YouTube right now, and I think they're on the NBC site, the Today Show site. Talking about their trip, and it will air sometime. The full program will air sometime in May, the first week of May. But they did it with our traditional morning show, Smile Jamaica, which comes on between 6 and 9.
Should I?
Yes.
So, Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean and shares economic interest with its regional neighbors. In terms of tourism, how cooperative are relations between Jamaica and its island neighbors? And additionally, what role does economic competitiveness play in these relationships?
Well, when you pulled me away to come up here, the person I was talking to was the Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Association. We work very closely with the rest of the Caribbean, because at the end of the day, the Caribbean is seen as almost one destination. It really is. And I have an old saying, a rising tide floats all ships, right? So we work together. There's an organization. There's a marketing fund that we market together. Could it be better? Yes, you bet. It could be better. But we do our best and we move on. But it doesn't stop the individual islands from aggressively marketing their wares. But we work together. Yes.
So another question. Tourism globalization is considered to have negative implications on the environment, both locally and globally. How can Jamaica and the international community work together to address the challenges that global tourism pose for the environment?
Every good thing has negatives, and countries should be very careful that they manage their environment when they're doing development, and having these hordes of tourists there, they should protect their environment because it's their raw material. Right? Now, I'm going to say one thing which somebody described to me, and I think it's very appropriate. Tourism is very simple. It's the easiest way of transferring wealth from the rich nations to the poor nations. And if you can tell me a better and an easier way, I love you. But, it's the easiest way. It's the easiest transfer of wealth.
It's really an enlightening statement. Okay, well, our last question this evening is, to what extent has cultural diplomacy played a role in integration and multiculturalism in Jamaica's multi-ethnic and diverse society?
Jamaica is an unusual place. We're all mixed up. Our national motto, out of many one. And when you stop to think about it, it's a very difficult question. But when you stop to think about it, it's helped us because it makes us more outgoing, more welcoming than any other country in the Caribbean, really. We're better salespeople because the society has been more exposed to more, right? Because, the average Jamaican will walk into a place and not feel out of home. It's just something that's bred into us, and I think it's given us an edge, to be frank with you. Right? We're all mixed up. Right?
I think more colorful nations are usually more successful ones.
I hope so. Right?
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
My pleasure.
It was a pleasure to have you.